My sister.
Nice.
Yeah, we're definitely close, obviously. You know, friends for life.
My first friend was my friend Shawnee. We've been best friends since like we were in diapers basically. And we're still friends now. Like she moved, but I still go see her every now and then.
My first friend her name is Katie, and I met her in kindergarten. And we were friends because we were forced to pair up in kindergarten and work together, and now we're still like best friends.
My first friend I had was my cousin, because coming to this country, I didn't know any English. Went everywhere together.
And how old were you when you came over?
I was about 2.
My first friend I ever had was a kid named Brian. All we basically did was play video games back then, so yeah, we're still friends, I guess.
Travis, he was my neighbor. He just moved in, and yeah, we're still friends today.
The first friend I met in grade school, his name was Monty, and he was a pretty cool kid. We didn't see eye to eye at first, but afterwards we definitely we clicked, and I'm still friends with him now.
A kid named Charlie. We like the same things.
Pre-K, my friend JC, I was 4, and we both really liked Alice in Wonderland.
One of my first friends was my friend Jonathan. I think we met in preschool. We're still pretty much best friends.
Yeah, she's actually standing over there. Her name's Brianna. We've been friends since we were 2. And yeah, we hang out all the time.
My first friend was I was born in Spain, and our neighbors, they're also American, and their daughter was my age, and we're still friends today. She's my best friend.
Some people say that friends come and go, but you know, some friends, they stay for life.
Do you remember your first best friend, Justin?
Yeah, his name was Hunter, and he was in my neighborhood, so we always used to hang out like after school, like all the time.
For me, I moved a lot, so like I didn't have time to make friends with my neighbors and stuff. So my best friend was probably like my sister, obviously. Usually, your first friend is someone you meet in your neighborhood.
Or someone who is in the school with you.
They are usually very close to your age.
And you have a chance to spend a lot of time with them.
They probably did a lot of the same things you did.
Go camping, go to church, watch the same kind of movies.
At different times when you're young, you may have avoided being friends with the opposite sex because they're not like you. You know, boys are icky.
Ew.
I'm just kidding.
All right. Well, all kidding aside, in the normal course of life, we lose friends for other reasons.
Many times the separation is simply practical. Families move away.
But other times it can be devastating and hard to understand. We grow apart or we're betrayed.
Losing friends. True friends are hard to find. That's what we'll be talking about today. Hi everyone, I'm Carolee.
And I'm Justin.
And this is Real Faith TV.
Many of the teens on the street still had friends from pre-K or kindergarten.
We'll hear from them again later in the show.
But first, let us meet our spotlight guest, Melissa.
She believes that you get out of the relationship what you put into it.
Let's meet her now.
My first friend that I could think of, her name was Colleen. I met her in the 2nd grade. It was funny because we looked so different. She had like blonde hair, blue eyes, like lighter skin, but we were inseparable. Our personalities were almost exactly the same. Unfortunately, we're not really friends anymore, but sometimes I still catch up with her and it's like we haven't like skipped a beat or anything. We just go back to what we were doing, like we still talk about the same things. I had another friend that she really became my best friend in the 6th grade when she came to my school. We had so much in common. I could talk to her about anything. But when we left for high school, my parents made me go to a school it's like a 40-minute drive away. And we really did try to stay in touch, but it was just really hard. As much as I wanted to like still be best friends with her, we had to make our own friends. We couldn't just abandon people at our school because, you know, we had to keep our friendships. I think the most important thing that I've learned about friendship is that what you put into it is exactly what you're gonna get out. Having someone that you know that you can always count on is really important. Well, fortunately, I don't think I've ever had to deal with someone really like betraying me because I usually almost like kind of abandon a relationship. Like if I think that they're going to do something that's really gonna hurt my feelings, I just try to take the easy way out and stray off before they do something that's really gonna affect me.
I don't really take the easy way out. I mean, I've shared my fair share of betrayals. You know, I've done it before, which I'm not proud of, but a lot of my close friends have too, which is why I'm not close to them anymore.
Mm-hmm. And like she was saying, with keeping in touch, like that's a huge, you know, like I've just lost touch with a lot of my, you know, past friends, so it's hard, you know, with everyday lives and different interests.
Now let's meet our studio guests and see if they still have friends from when they were young.
Okay, they are Alina, Allie, Monique, John, Caitlin, Ricky, and Christian.
Do you guys stay in touch with friends you made when you were younger?
Not really, like from people when I was younger, because we kind of like went to different schools and we kind of like went our separate ways, and it's kind of upsetting.
Well, yeah, like I'm kind of the exact opposite. Like my neighbor across the street, we're like the same age. So we became like really close friends, even though we're like complete opposites. Like she's kind of shy and I'm kind of outgoing. And like we thought it was important that we go to the same high school. So we're gonna try to stay together for another 4 years.
Yeah, my friend, we met in Cub Scouts, and he lives like a half a mile down the road, so I can just pretty much walk to his house. He's always been on like my sports teams, and we have a lot in common, and we fight sometimes like brothers, but I mean we always find a way to just get back, and we're always happy with each other. So
I'm not really friends with any of the people I was friends with when I was in kindergarten, because I feel like we've all branched out and joined our own different, like clubs and whatnot, so we just have different interests, so we don't stay in touch at all.
It's kind of the same for me. I don't really talk to the friends I had when I was like really little. If we see each other, we talk, but we just don't. We've grown apart enough that we don't really go out of our way to hang out anymore.
I didn't really have friends in pre-K because I was really shy, and in 4th grade, actually, I broke my leg, so I was taken out of school because they didn't want me in this class because I was going to be in a wheelchair, because they didn't want me not being able to sit at my desk. So my mom decided to homeschool me, and that's when I really made true friends that I actually began to trust.
As you get older, you are more likely to choose friends based on certain qualities or characteristics.
You find classmates or teammates with things in common. Maybe you play soccer together.
Or they're members of the drama club.
They may even be a part of your youth group.
Let's go back to the teens on the street and hear what qualities they look for in friends.
Let's check it out.
As far as friendship and qualities, I would say trust, communication, and devotion.
Somebody who's gonna be there for me and who'll listen to me when I'm like in my time of need.
Someone who's just fun to hang out with, that's really it.
Trustworthy and honest.
Make me laugh, stay with me when there's hard times.
Loyalty.
Acceptance.
Not like talk behind your back, or they're just like trustworthy.
Definitely look for a lot of commonalities in someone who's a true friend.
Someone that's always there for me, someone that can talk to me.
Who's like been there for you and who never left your side.
Friends that will always be there for me whenever I'm like in a low situation. Not ones that just kind of like use you for like what you have.
Someone who can have a lot of fun, but also be serious. Because I like to have fun, but when I need a friend to talk to or someone just to talk to things about, that's what I want.
Good friends are really hard to come by.
Do you look for friends who share the same values or similar faith beliefs?
Not really, but like it's not a big deal because most of my friends like are just the same as me, so.
It depends because they don't have to have the same values as you as long as they're like a respectable person.
Without it, we have nothing to talk about, so.
I don't really look for friends with similar faith value. Honestly, I really don't care what your faith system is. It's just, are you annoying? Do you annoy me?
There's certain people who show that their values are definitely different from mine, and I tend to kind of stay away from those people.
Most of my friends they believe in God, and basically we all have the same like faith.
I respect whatever they believe, and they should respect whatever I believe.
Not all my friends are similar to me in my personality or values and stuff, but I feel like my closest friends are the ones who we share values and that kind of thing.
When you find a good friend, Scripture tells us you have found a treasure.
Let's go back to Melissa and hear what she thinks are qualities of a true friend and who she treasures.
My definition of a true friend would probably be someone that's always there for you no matter what. Also, I think that it's really important to have a friend that's willing to forgive you for anything that you do. Everyone's gonna like make mistakes, but I think it's your friends that are still gonna be there after you've made that mistake, not define you over that one thing that you did. Qualities that I look for in a true friend would be being like true to themselves and being genuine. I don't think I could get really close with someone that I always felt was being like fake, trying to be someone that they thought that I would like. I don't want someone that's just gonna like compliment me all the time and like make me feel good about myself even though they don't really mean it. I want them to tell me like if I'm doing something wrong, if I did something to make them feel bad. I don't want them to hold it all inside. I want them to tell me what I did. But when I think of like true friends that are always there for me, like no matter what, I think more of like my siblings, not really people that I meet at school, because no matter what, my siblings are always there. Even if it's in the middle of the night, they'll drop what they're doing because they know that like I need them to be there. They know how like important it is for me to have someone to talk to or just tell them what I'm feeling.
In both segments, the teens on the street seem to agree that trustworthiness and being there for one another were high on the list of requirements.
Yeah, like for example, yesterday, my friend called me and was like, I really need to talk. I really need to talk to you. So meanwhile, it's like midnight. It's midnight, and I was like, okay, I dropped everything I was doing. I ran over there just because I know like he's done the same thing for me in the past. So I wanted to make sure I was like the same equal friend that he's been there for me. I believe friendship should be, a give and take thing.
Most definitely, I completely agree. What do you think your qualities are that you find in a friend?
I think that they should at least be caring for who you are, and that you should be able to trust them and that they should trust you back.
Trust is like really important, but I also feel like it's important that they have a good sense of humor and like they're fun to be around.
Just be you and just be who you are, and that's enough for me, for someone to be my friend.
I think being honest too. Like if you have a friend that like can't like tell you how they feel, like say if you like get in a fight and like you don't agree on something, if you have that honesty between each other and you're able to talk to someone, it's so much easier.
I think that two really important qualities in a friend would be forgiving and charitable, because that shows that they're willing to put the effort in to put others before themselves. So if you're both just working to build each other up and keep the relationship going, then you know that it's going to work.
I really like it when friends see something in you that you didn't see in yourself, whether it be like something really good. It affirms you when you realize that other people think that about you, or if it's something that you need to work on, that it's a challenge for you to fix.
Yeah, I think because I like to joke a lot, so I want my friend to be like funny and have a sense of humor, so I can joke with him, and just like to be there for me, like when I need help or when I'm in trouble, and I know that he's there to help me out.
Usually by high school, we have experienced good and bad friendships.
Some that last and some that are short-lived.
Once we've experienced a friendship fail, it can be really hard to open ourselves up again to others.
We may not feel like trying anymore.
Or we become a more shallow version of ourselves in order to have lots of relationships.
But few real, close friends.
This may be easier on our hearts in one sense.
But we rob ourselves of the gifts of others and keep others from experiencing who we really are.
Blessed John Paul II tells us that our call is to a gift of self.
This is not only later in marriage or ordained life, but in every friendship.
We find freedom in this, but it requires us to be vulnerable.
Melissa shares her story of losing a friend and how devastated she was.
Let's take a listen.
Well, growing up, I had this nanny, and I was attached to her. My parents, they're both doctors and they work full time, so I needed someone to take care of me, be home when I came home from school. Honestly, she was probably like my best friend for the first 12 years of my life. Eventually, she left to go back home, and I was just devastated because I didn't really see it coming. It's like I had always had her, and then all of a sudden, it just like disappeared. It's not someone that I can just go back and be like, hey, like what's up, we should catch up. She was just gone. I feel like I wouldn't even hang out with some of my friends because I would just want to like stay at home with her and just like watch TV. It was like something was just like ripped from me. I don't think I ever wanted to feel that feeling ever again. This past year I was a junior, and in our morality class, you just had to tell any story. That really changed your life. So as much as I didn't want to talk about that story about my nanny, when I opened up, I was just sitting in front of 20 girls and literally just crying my eyes out. At the end of your story, every girl has to say, like, Melissa, I think you're beautiful because. And after hearing all of their responses, it feels so great that everyone could kind of relate to what I was talking about. Their response was so great, and it made me such a stronger person. When you lose that person, obviously you're gonna feel lost. You're gonna feel alone. But to know that other people are feeling that too really helps, heal yourself.
Yeah, I had my own experience of losing my friend he lived like across the street from me, and he would always come over to play video games. And one time he would come over when my other friend was over, and they kind of had an argument. They didn't like become friends, so it kind of took a toll on me. And the way I coped with them, like arguing and my friend not being my friend anymore, was that we never like talked since. So spark of the friendship just kind of went out.
Very dear friend of mine. She and I have been friends for like 3 years of high school, and like all of a sudden she told me, oh yeah, I'm moving to Texas, and it just devastated me. I was like, oh my gosh, no, what am I gonna do? We hung out for the rest of the year, the remainder of the year, and then one day, you know, I came to school and she wasn't there anymore, just like the empty desk. It was like, almost like a horror story. And you know, the way I coped with that was keeping in touch with her on Facebook and just living every day, you know, being myself, moving on, because I know that's what she would want.
Yeah, I just recently graduated from 8th grade, and there's this girl that I was really close friends with her in 8th grade. In 7th grade, we were basically rivals. Like, we didn't want to talk to each other or sit next to each other or look at each other. And then we finally just realized that it just came down to the two of us and another really close friend of ours. And by the end of 7th grade and beginning of 8th, we became like the Three Musketeers. We were like glued. We could not be separated. As the end of the year came near, we realized that she was going to move to Texas. And by graduation, it was just so hard to cope. Like, it was so hard to just try and be happy and like realize that even though you're moving, we still have texting and FaceTime, but it just wouldn't feel the same without her being there face to face.
For me, it's the opposite. I've been the one who, I guess, has been the devastation because I move all the time. So I have to actually help my friends cope, like right before I move. Usually we have like a party or something. And it's hard to let go, I mean, but I'm so used to it moving 7 times that it's harder for the people like around me.
The summer after I graduated from 8th grade, my friend who had been my closest friend during 8th grade, my contact with her was a lot less than it had been during the school year, which wasn't intentional. It was just that like when I'm spending time over the summer, I get busy, I get sidetracked, I don't keep in touch with people. But she was offended by it and didn't really believe me when I told her that it wasn't intentional. She kept telling me like I had changed and I wasn't the same person that she knew me as. So she just didn't trust me and eventually just stopped talking to me because she was angry, I guess. So it was frustrating to not be believed, I guess. Whenever there's a situation like that, or even if it's just two friends growing apart, it can like make you think, like, you know, what's wrong with me? You know, what if she's right? Like, what if I did change? Like, what if I'm like not as good of a person anymore or something? I try to take an honest look at myself every time that I grow apart from a friend and just see, you know, what can I change for next time without beating up on myself.
I know what you mean. I had this friend that lived across the street from me, and so from the time we were in like 2nd grade to like 8th grade, we were best friends, but because we were in different classes in middle school, we didn't see as much of each other, and we ended up making different friends. And the friends that she had made didn't, you know, treat me the way that I wanted to be treated, so she ended up kind of treating me the same way. So we ended up not being friends, and she ended up actually moving, and it's really hard even today because, you know, you think about all those times that you spent together and like, did it really mean what you thought it meant, or did you change, did they change? It still hurts.
That's tough. When I was in like 3rd grade, I had this best friend and we would like do everything together. And like on our way to recess, she like pulled me aside and she's like, okay, I'm gonna tell you something and you can't tell anyone. I'm gonna go to Africa for a year. And I was like, yeah, okay. And then so like next year she just like wasn't there. And like we all like got like these letters and they were like, oh yeah, your friend just went for Africa because her dad's like the pastor at the church and they're doing a missionary thing. And I was just like blown away. And the way I coped with it probably wasn't the right way. Instead of like trying to keep in touch, I just like made new friends. And when she came back, it was just like I didn't even know her, and it was kind of not the way I should have handled it.
One of my old best friends, we were like inseparable. When we went into elementary school, like she started hanging out with like kids that like this girl that just didn't like me at all, and so she kind of like just started like not spending time with me, and so I started making new friends, and now we just don't even talk. Like I saw her the other day, and we were in the same exact room, and she like didn't even like look at me. Like we had such a strong connection, but then when we went our separate ways, it broke my heart.
We asked the teens on the street if they ever lost a friend or were betrayed by one.
My friend moved away when I was like 8, and I never really saw him again.
My friend Autumn, she used to live down the street from me, and then she moved.
My friend Bobby, he used to live where I lived in town, and then he moved away.
I had a friend, Jackie, and we were really close last summer, and this summer we kind of like just were apart because like we both changed and we're different people.
My friend Denasia, because we were really close before we came into high school, and then like she just started hanging around new people, and I didn't really like them, so we're not really that close anymore.
My friend Nina, but like we just drifted apart because we had too many different interests and like we were too busy for each other.
We didn't believe in the same thing anymore. Like she chose to do, you know, all the bad stuff when I'm trying to do all the good stuff. So you can't really surround yourself with people that's trying to bring you down. So you try to, it's hard, but you're gonna have to depart yourself away from them.
Have I lost a friend because of betrayal? No, because I don't know, I'm just kind of a forgiving person, which could be my my downfall, I guess. I don't hold any grudges.
No one's really betrayed me.
I have had friends who have betrayed me, but if I decide that I can't deal with them anymore, I just kind of slowly ease out and not have a big ultimatum.
So my friend Ryan, he started being a jerk. He started to start a lot of things that I really didn't need in my life, so I was just like, bye.
That happened once, and I mean, I kind of just dealt with it. Like, we tried to talk it out, and then we just agreed that like it's not worth fighting over. So we were like, all right, whatever, we'll still be friends, but we don't really hang out anymore.
Numerous friends, but you just got to keep strong and just know who you have around you, the other people that's around you, that's trying to hold you up, build you up, and support you throughout the way. It's hard, but you just got to pray about it.
She brings up a good point. No one wants to lose a friend.
But it happens, and if we don't look to God for guidance and help, dealing with that loss can be overwhelming. God intended for us to be social and to rely on others for support and help.
The book of Proverbs has a lot to say about how to choose your friends.
Consider this: whoever walks with the wise becomes wise,
but the companion of fools will suffer harm.
We asked the teens on the street for some advice for choosing friends.
And how Scripture inspires those choices.
Let's go to the wall.
Choosing a friend is really hard because your friend could build you up or they could bring you down. So you just have to pray about it. And if you see certain signs that you like, stick with it. If you don't, run away.
Make sure they like get along with you and they don't like contradict everything you believe in.
Look for somebody who's always going to be there for you. Like, don't look for somebody who's going to pressure you into doing the wrong thing.
Don't go out searching for a friend, because honestly, the best friends are made through doing things that you like, common interests.
Choose friends not by like the kind of reputation they have, but by like the kind of person that they are.
Everybody does have to make some compromises, but anytime you find yourself really bending like a lot of like very strong moral values that you have, it's probably not the best idea to be friends with that person.
They have to be respectful towards you.
Whoever's loyal to you and doesn't ever backstab you or talk about you or anything like that.
What scriptures or prayers inspire you when it comes to friendship?
Romans is one of my favorite books, and it's a thing that talks a lot about like how you need to be to other people and to get along.
Jesus and the apostles, because like they were always there for him, like when he was needing their help.
Is there a Bible passage that helps any of you choose your friends?
The Stations of the Cross, when Veronica helped Jesus out and she wiped the sweat and blood off his face. That was a real sign. That was a real sign of love towards Jesus, and that's really what a friend should be and what a friend is all about.
Well, what first comes to my mind is when Jesus was like to Peter, I know you're gonna deny me, and I know that that's who you are, but he still like trusted him, and he still was friends with him.
The one where Jesus says to his apostles, there's no greater love than for a man to lay down his life for his friends. Like, that's something that really defines friendship for me.
Or like when Jesus washed his disciples' feet at the Last Supper, because he was saying, you need to do this to help each other, because it's not just all about you. Like, you should be willing to put forth effort to serve the people around you. And serving doesn't mean that they're like below you. It means that you're equals, but you just want to help each other out.
Alyssa shares why it isn't always about finding new friends. Sometimes it's about relying on God's relationship.
Let's check it out. I think just knowing that no matter what, even if, like, say I have friends that abandon me, I know that I'll always have God in my life.
I'm not desperate to find friends just so that I'm not like lonely. You know, he's always with me. One scripture that really stands out to me, which isn't really about like friendship, it's more about like love and like a family. The prodigal son, you think about the son and he left and he took all the money and then he spent it all on like gambling, and then he comes home and you know his dad's there for him. He's not resenting the fact that he left. He's more rejoicing the fact that he's back. That's how I would hope that a best friend would treat me. If I left for some reason, and even if I made an awful mistake, they wouldn't just think about that one thing I did. Instead, they would be happy that our friendship is back.
Losing a friend is painful and hard to deal with sometimes, but remember, as Alexander Graham Bell once said,
When one door closes, another door opens.
but we so often look so long
And so regretfully upon the closed door.
that we do not see the ones which open for us.
So have patience and wait for better times to come.
You may just find a new friend that understands you much better.
Or you may rediscover an old friendship.
And sometimes we forget that when we are friends to others,
We're not always the best we can be either.
but if you put in the work
And find good people who can support you,
and that you can trust with the best and most real version of yourself,
you may just find a real treasure.
or be a real treasure.
How have you handled the loss of a friend?
We'd love to hear your story,
Contact us at realfaithtv.com.
or share your thoughts with us on Twitter.
And we'll leave you today with this from the Gospel of John, chapter 15.
This is my commandment: love one another as I love you.
No one has greater love than this, to lay down one's life for one's friend.
You are my friends if you do what I command you.
We need to see Jesus in the face of our friends.
And our friends should see his face in us.
Thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time on
Real Faith TV.
God bless.